All right, we've got some things moved around. We're starting to get the jet ski into my garage so I can work on it. First thing I want to look at is these bumpers. When they start popping out like this, usually if it's just a little spot, you can pop them back in just with a pocket screwdriver. But when they start really getting out, you end up taking a chance on damaging. The proper way is when these pop out like this is to take the rear bumper off, slide it out until you get to that point there and pop it back in. So you'll see on this side it's really out far, and it's going to need to be pulled out in order to get it back in. So we need to see if we can get these bumpers off without damaging them. These bumpers don't always like to come out without breaking, and that's a big problem. So we'll see what happens here in a second. I'm going to start pulling these bumpers off, see if I can get them out so I can slide the new bumpers in. We'll see here if I can set my camera up. Over here, maybe you might be able to see. Let's see. All right, that's pretty close. Hopefully you guys can see that. Here. This one seems to be loosening without a problem. Nice. Yeah, that one's kind of loose. See if we can get this other one loose here real quick. Okay, this one's being a little difficult. Come on, baby. Come loose. Don't break. Alright, it's coming off too, it seems like. It started off a little tight, but it's doing alright. It's coming off. So we'll just keep going until we get it off. So don't ever put Loctite on these. If anything, put some anti-seize. Alright, I got one bolt out. Get the other one out. This one, some of these will have 2 screws, some of them will have 3. I think the 97s had 3, but you can use the 98s and even the 99s on these. These will have only 2 bolts, one instead of one in the middle. I think they bump enough of they found out. Well, look. Okay, so this one actually has a spot for the 3rd hole, but there's no hole drilled in the bumper over here for the third hole. It only has 2. So I did this side first. You might not have saw that in the video, unfortunately, but I did get this one off. So the idea here now is to try to slide this out. Now the easiest way might just be to pull it from this spot here and slide it down till it comes all the way back to where it starts, and then start sliding it back in. Okay, so that's how it goes. Then when you get all the way to the other end, you will have a little bit of a problem. Sometimes they don't want to slide right back in under here, and you'll have to give it a little pry. But we're going to keep going until we get there, and then we'll see where we're at. But right now, everything's going in nice. It seems to be holding up. Sometimes you have to use a little piece of wood and give it a little tap tap. Sometimes they just slide right in like this one did, which was nice. And it actually slid. Actually, it's right there right now, I think. So we're going to give it a little bit more of a little tap. So this is where you can use a little piece of wood, screwdriver or something. Just be very gentle with it and just give it a little tap. If you can't, oh, look, I pushed it in. Look at that, it went right in with just a push. Some of them, though, you have to tap. So you have to have clearance for that hole. That's what holds it in. So this one's fixed. Nice, it's in all the way. Sometimes these pieces will crack, and that's why they pop out. But on this side, it didn't look like that was the case. Not sure why that one came out. It could have been because you see right here, there's a nice dent right there where he may have hit something and then it caught it when it pulled off of it. But anyway, this one's done. It's ready to put back on. We can just slide it back in where it goes, just like that, and put it back in. Now what I'm going to do, instead of using Loctite, I'm going to use a little bit of anti-seize to put them back in to make sure we don't have a problem later on. So, and then we'll do the next side. So let's go ahead and see if I can set this up here again. I'll get the other one apart. Oops. See if you can still see. All right, cool. So that one's out quite a ways, and then we're just going to come over here and get the bolt underneath here. It's an 8mm, and sometimes they like to break these bumpers. Like I said, you can tighten it and loosen it a couple times, which I'm doing right now, because that one's pretty tight. Sometimes they don't want to come out. If you can get it to come out, that's good, good sign. So this one does seem to be loosening. It is loosening. All right, good. So that's one. I just got to get the other one to come loose without any hassle. So I'm going to go ahead and stop on that one there. And see if I can get this one to come off, because this is the next one. Same thing. Sometimes they don't like to come off without breaking, and it sucks when that happens. It's much nicer when I can get my ratchet wrench on it and do it. That's for sure. Alright, let's see. There we go. Oh, this one's nice and loose. See, that side over there was kind of tight and felt like I might break it. And this side's nice and loose. So that's really nice to see that these are both going to come out. Now I'll be able to get this bumper back in. So be just about there. There it is. All right, cool. So this one, only has two holes. So you saw the other one had a third one there. That tells me that one may have been replaced on that side before for the same problem. But see how they get the corrosion in there? And so never Loctite these. Now, again, what I mentioned before, we're going to grab this here. We're going to slide it. Just keep sliding. Now I'm stuck on something here. Gotta figure out what it is. It is something stuck. Oh, goodness. That's not good. We're stuck on something. I wonder what we're stuck on. Got a rivet or something here stuck? Something in here stuck? No, it feels fine. There we go. Every time I go right there, it wants to stick again. It wants to go one way and not the other. Interesting. What's it catching on here? Is the question. Why is it catching? I don't know. The other side went nice and easy. This side does not want to work. I may have to just try to pry this one out and just put it back in for fresh. Possibly. Let's just be gentle with it. Try to take it out. Okay. There we go. That looked like how that just slid. There's a rivet or something right there. When I started pulling this out, there's a broken rivet or something there. So now it's coming out. See that? It wasn't jamming anymore. Now I gotta do is slide it back in. See how easy that is? Slide it in. Make sure it goes in good. Yeah, there was a rivet or something there that was stuck in it and it popped out. There we go. We're all the way back again. I have to give it a little bit of a bump with something because it's a little bit stiffer than the other side. But it is going in. Let's see here what we're doing. This thing looks like it's in on this side. That looks good. Let's see. Okay. A little hammer. And I got an extension here. So I'll just take this little extension right here. And we're just going to give it a little bit. There we go. There we go. Now we can see over here where the hole is to line it up to put the bolts back in. And there we go. It's all back together. That looks good again. Customer will be happy. And I just have to put these back on. So these also do have the little edges on here when they go. So if you put it on, and then the hole doesn't line up, and you got to push these up a little bit further to get them in. So I'll take a look at that in a minute. And I'm going to put some of that, like I said, anti-seize on these because I don't want these to ever be stuck on them. There's three. I mean, honestly, I'd rather this thing come loose and lose a bolt and notice that the bumper's starting to fall off and be able to put a new bolt in it, then Loctite them in and then never be able to get them off because people rip those bumpers off all the time. Well, not all the time, but I mean, I've changed them a few times. So, because I know this. All right, so I finally finished this side. I actually had to hit this rubber piece in as far as it would until it bottomed out in the front. And then I had to start this bolt first because it liked to stick against this rubber and you had to fight with it. So start with the outside first and then do the inside, and then I got it on. So that's one side completely done. Now we're gonna work on the other side. All right, we'll go ahead and finish up this side and see if I can video the rest of this side getting done. All right. Again, I'm gonna hit this in as far as I can get it to go. Should just be, when you put this in, you should see that bumper just barely go over it. You can see that it's clearly going over the top of it, so that's good. We're going to try starting this other bolt first, like I mentioned earlier. So, let's see how we go here. Not sure if you'll be able to see me through the camera or not, but it is what it is. There we go. So get the bolt started. We're going to put the ratchet on it so that it'll help me with tightening it, since we're going to start on this side anyway. That'll kind of hold the bolt in position, and this will, I'll be able to kind of look at where the lineup marks are, and it should be about right there. There's a fear that I've got it started. It's starting to suck it in, so I'll go ahead and pull it off now. Get the other one started. See if we can push this one in far enough to get this one started, because it will back out of the hole some, and you just have to hold it so it doesn't fall. I think I've already gotten it started. It feels that way. Let's see here. Alright, let's see. Come on, baby. Am I on the bolt? There we go. Alright, go back to the front. Make sure it's sitting nice and flush. Let's see, I want to tighten it so. Alright, like that. There we go. You don't want to over tighten these, you just want to make them snug like I mentioned. Otherwise, you can end up stripping out the bolt or make it so it doesn't want to come back off next time. So, just snug them up. There we go. Those are all good. Alright, cool. Like I said, I'm trying not to over tighten them. I just want to make sure they feel tight though. I could even just do it with this. Alright, cool. Those are done. Ow! I got both bumpers completely done and fixed. Customer will be happy about that. On to the next project. Alright, well, thanks for watching. That's just a how to put your bumpers back in.